So I'm going to pass it back to my spirit son, and so grateful for his life that he came to the planet this day, and he's here with us. Happy
birthday to ya. Happy birthday. Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
And many more.
Surprise. Hey man, my heart is full. I'm smiling ear to ear. Thank you. I love y'all. I appreciate today is gonna be fun. We're reminiscing. We're walking down memory lane just a little bit. We're still waiting on a couple of our youth performers. I see one just tuned in. So what I'm gonna do is actually introduce our guest speaker for today. And we're gonna go ahead and get started with that, and then we'll do some of the performances a little bit later.
And Lemond, if we can, before we introduce Brother Patterson, do a little connectivity with the yoga move.
Yes.
So I want everybody to put their hands together, and we're just going to rub, because we're going to welcome in Brother Patterson. We're going to connect ourselves to each other. So just rub your hands in a circle. This is bringing the energy into the body. We have 72,000 nerve endings. So you're just rubbing your hands in a circle, sort of the pads of the hands. So rub really hard. The hands may get warm. You're going to rub clockwise first, because we're rubbing and we're taking it all around the planet. We're taking it north. We're taking it south. We're taking it east. We're taking it west. Now reverse the direction. Roll in the other way. Roll, roll, roll. Rub those hands. Rub those hands. This is an upper body workout. If you haven't gotten it, here you're getting it in. Getting it in. Rub, rub, rub. Good. Rub, rub, rub. And now place your hands together and feel your energy. And let's pull it out, because we're pulling us all together. We feel ourselves being connected. Pull it out, and then bring the hands back in. Feel your energy. Pull it in, pull it in, pull it in. And then we're going to bring in Mr. Patterson as we open up our hands, opening up our heart, opening up the world, that we're all connected. And as we bring our hands together, let's place our hands into the camera, because we are unique and special, each of us. The palms of our hands are reminders. So if any of us forget, or if anybody says that you're not special and unique, you just say, talk to the hands. God has given this to us as our reminder. We are special and unique. So we bring forth an amazing, amazing human being and warrior and spirit. And Lemond will introduce Mr. Patterson. We welcome him in through our energy connecting. Thank you.
So I have the honor and privilege of welcoming this dynamic leader, this powerful force in the movement, as we call it. He is the founder and CEO of Global Transcendence, organization that works in the DC, Maryland region and across the world, helping youth and families, particularly through mental health and other wraparound services. He's also CEO of Universal Healthcare, and is really just a pillar in the community. One of the unsung heroes that doesn't get a lot of media attention. He's not there when the cameras are on, but is definitely doing the work. And he was also one of the biggest partners that we had to make this most recent exchange trip in DC happen. Him and his organization sponsored the housing and the transportation for the youth that came from South Africa. So we are honored to have him here with us. Please give your warmest welcome to my brother. I also call him the triple OG, Mr. William Patterson.
Good morning, Image. You definitely earned your title there, young man. If anybody has not seen Image perform, he's a great performer, a great visionary, and a great young man. Actually, sometimes I work so hard that I fail to read. And when you said our guest speaker, I was waiting to see who that person was going to be. I just thought I was on the panel. but all too often when we're doing this, the work that we do, like Lemond, we forget about the marketing and the accolades and so on and so forth, and we so committed to the work that each day we fall out and go to sleep, rather than trying to figure out how to get the message out. And so we meaning Lemond, and I have other partners, we have been involved with quietly doing work, and I'd like to refer to that work as emotional intelligence. Is a lot going on these days, and I think the forum such as this is very critical. I've invited Miss Jenkins on the line. She's on the line. Her family has been impacted by gun violence, and she has a beautiful son who was a quarterback, and his sports career has been impacted. And Lemond, I would love to have you and Miss Jenkins meet at some point to see if her son has an interest in the international educational exchange. You know, I knew there was something special about this world and special people, and this Steam the Block that has been organized, and Denise and all the people in Houston and South Africa, you're part of that special stuff. And when I met Lemond, I knew that there was something there. However, I watched them leave the DC area for 6 years, going to South Africa. And maybe in the third or fourth year, I thought maybe that I was traveling too, but I never got on the plane. But last year, South Africa came to Washington, DC, and whatever was needed at the time, I had it, and I volunteered that, and that happened to be a van. I had a 10-passenger van, so there was no driver, so I drove over to the airport, and there were 10 or 12 kids from South Africa, all excited, all different ages, all hues, and I'm at National Airport, and they're just doing their thing, and I was like, oh my God. You know, because, you know, I'm 67 years old. I just drive around tired, work tired, wake up tired. And here these exciting kids were. And they got in the van with me. And I was like, oh, wow. So I said, okay, let's go to the house. And so I had this house in Clinton, Maryland. From National Airport, we drove to Clinton, Maryland. And wow. After the kids were getting situated and everything, and I was trying to figure out all the logistics with the air conditions and so on and so forth, I realized that I was involved in an out-of-body experience. And I love that out-of-body experience. So this morning with the connectivity and the meditation, again, I feel like this movement is an out-of-body experience. It is a connection, a spiritual connection that not only is happening, but we want to edify and uplift it so that it can revive, relight, re-energize, reunite. We want this to be a burning path for those to join, particularly at this time. So what I'm proposing is I'm a member of the NAACP, and I have an action plan that's already been implemented, and I've discussed that with Lemond. And I've already submitted to the National NAACP office. They're required 25 young people between the 3rd grade through high school to have their own chapter of the NAACP. In addition, I have contacted one of our partners, Dash Marketing, Miss Jeanette Hoard-Smith, to be the marketer and the brander for a campaign to be done by the third graders through the high school students. And what we are looking to do is connect all of that together and have Brother Lemond team up with Bishop McDuffie from Laurinburg Institute in Laurinburg, North Carolina, that's been operating a school since 1904 for our youth, and has had great success. Great success. People have gone on to impact the world in a great way. So what we would love to do, what I would love to do as a vision, is open up the invitation to Houston, to Los Angeles, to South Africa, and to other countries in Africa, the opportunity to join the NAACP. And then we will operate, once you have time, Google the NAACP National. They have a campaign that's going on right now that's called We Are Done Dying. And under that campaign and under the umbrella of the NAACP, we can formulate our own messaging for the world. One of the things that I wanted to have on the campaign is the continued formulation of the message of Black Lives Matters, tempered with emotional intelligence and reframing what's going on in America to include not only police killings, but killings done by anybody. Because there's black on black killing and there's white on white killing. So we want to get rid of all killing if we can. We want to reduce that impact. And just as a footnote, there are more white people being murdered by white people than there are black people being murdered by black people. That's just a footnote. But anyway, we want to formulate under the NAACP our own campaign and have our seeds take the lead. And in the United States, the messaging could be, for example, reformulating the historical aspect of the descendants of slaves from 1865 and the Civil War, and the Confederation of America, who succeeded from the United States, lost that war. And what we're seeing is a resurgence of the Confederation of America. Now, right after this meeting, I am the commander of National Association of Black Veterans, Prince George's County chapter. We will be further discussing this because as a veteran, and Twala is on the line as well, we know the resurgence of the killings is a resurgence of the Confederation of America, which in fact is treason. And we're looking at traitors. And we know our presidency is the leader of the Confederation of America. To have our children use a campaign to give the historical aspect of what we're seeing now and what happened then, this forum, connectivity, connects 1865 to what's happening now to John Lewis and C.T. Vivian. As our ancestors move on, we now have the opportunity to have our seeds connected and get rid of these generational lines. The other thing, for example, in Africa, I was reading about the 5th president of the United States colonizing Liberia and renaming Liberia after himself. So President Monroe renamed Liberia, and then eventually in 1926, there was a business deal that went down between Firestone Rubber, and they pretty much have corralled the resources of Liberia and become the biggest rubber factory in the world. So last week I was reading up on it, and this happened in 1926. They signed a 100-year lease for like 3 cents an acre, 3 to 6 cents an acre. So in 1926, a 100-year lease, that ends in 2026. So these are the type things that we want to highlight in the social media campaign. By doing so, we will look at what's happening in our country. I mean, I've been buying cars for years, but I had no idea that I was supporting such an ugly system. And this is exactly some of the things that we want to do. So rather than take this time with my beautiful brother, Hugh Masekela, in the background, to talk about whatever keynote speakers talk about, I'm going to give this plan to our brother Lemond in hopes that we can come together, Houston, Texas, come together, South Africa. And I will go to the national office of the NAACP and see how we can start this movement with the NAACP and join this global movement of people of color so that we can begin to advocate for our own repair, our own reparations. And so I'm so excited to be with you this morning in hopes that we can bring such a movement together and begin to elevate the educational exchange, because this is all education that will change the classroom. I think COVID-19 has created a great opportunity for us to elevate beyond where we were. Now, Lemond, you know that's my favorite Hugh Masekela.
I know it. That's why I played it. That
Yes, sir.
Hugh
About to make
Masekela,
it right. Yeah, that's my favorite. Hope. That's the name of that CD. That's Hope. And Stimuli was the song that I listened to for almost a year and a half to build universal health care. That was my meditation song. Stimuli. Yeah. Stimuli. Yes. And as a result of that song, that I was introduced to that song close to 30 years ago. I have not worn a piece of yellow gold since the day that I understood what that song was saying. That they were raping the earth. Deep, deep, deep in the belly of the earth, they were sending out people miles into the earth to get the precious stones. And people like De Beers made billions and billions of dollars while we died. Yeah. So I would like to turn the mic back over to our leader, Lemond. Thank you so much, everyone, for being here this morning. Thank you.
Awesome, awesome. Thank you. Can we give it up one more time for Mr. Patterson? Thank you, sir. Such an honor to have you here with us. And as always, dropping knowledge and information, vital information. And see, a lot of people, you know, talk about we should do this or we should do that. But one thing I like about Mr. Patterson, he's actually doing the work, and he has a real plan about how to positively impact our communities and how we can help ourselves and make a real change. So again, that's why I'm honored to work with him as a leader and a mentor. And we'll definitely be sharing more information about that program that he was discussing in partnership with the NAACP. So for folks that are interested, we'll definitely be sharing more information about that. So again, thank you, Mr. Patterson, for being with us here this morning.